It's Monday, February the 24th, 2020, 4:30 p.m., calling the BEDC to order. At this time, we're going to have photos taken. Are we all here? Yes, I want to make sure that we're all here. We're going to do a quick photo session, go into public comments, hear from Jimmy Crouch, and for any of those viewing, then we'll go into executive session.
didn't take this flag out of the picture, you know. I'm just kidding, I'm kidding.
Now need the lawyer's table. Don't have any public, so I guess we won't have any public comment. Looks like we don't have public, so I guess we won't have public comment.
It'd be hard. It'd be very difficult.
Richard's out of town. So.
Oh, is he? Well, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, they're in Colorado. I guess hiding from the Main Street construction.
Well, that's where they were going to move before they decided not to move.
Yep.
Fort Collins, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they were planning on Colorado.
All right, best laid plan is Jimmy's not here.
Yeah, so we can put him off until.
I may very well. Like between here and Austin, or around the corner, or? In Austin. Okay, then we'll just move on. Okay, at this time, do we?
Be here about 5:15. He said he's on his way.
We'll go into public comments. Are there any public comments? Okay, looks like there isn't. Why don't we go ahead and I don't believe Jimmy will make it before we go into executive session, but let's go ahead and do 4.1, approval of meeting minutes from the Bastrop EDC regular board meeting of December 16th, 2019, joint meeting with City Council of January 15th, 2020, and board meeting and retreat of January 27th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to accept those minutes?
Second?
Second.
All those approve? Aye. And any opposed? It passes. 4.2, acceptance of the Bastrop's EDC financial summary reports for periods ending November 30th, 2019, December 31st, 2019, and January 31st of 2020.
Make a motion to accept those financials for those 3 months.
Does anyone care to have a discussion about them? Was there anything that you wanted to point out? Okay. Very good. For all those that approve? And all those that oppose? And it passes. Okay, so Jimmy Crouch is not here. We are going to have a very brief update regarding possibly 2 items, the demolition, if he'd like to recap that, and then also the submission of the permits on the 20th, but I think it'll be limited to that, and we will at this time go ahead and go into executive session. So for executive session,
If I may, we don't need to do the third one, just the first 2 on executive session.
okay. The Bastrop EDC Board of Directors will meet in a closed executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to discuss the following. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and Sections .072 and 551.087, deliberation regarding the commercial or financial information as well as the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property received on 921 Main Street project to include project paint by number, 921 Main Street project, Stone Development Group, and Sabre Commercial. Section 551.071, consultation with attorney, and sections 551.072 and 551.087, deliberation regarding the commercial or financial information as well as the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property received on potential projects, Project Charlotte, Project Bob Pole, Project Greenport, and Project Westworld. The time is 4:41. Okay, 4:41. Okay, the BEDC has reconvened from executive session at 5:39, and we do not have any action items from the executive session. So we'll continue on with our agenda items. At this time, we're going to have 4.3 is an update on 921 Main Street building from project manager Jimmy Crouch. Jimmy, thank you for sending the PowerPoint. There are many to be decided here. If you could limit your presentation to 2 items.
Sure.
Update us on the demolition, because that has been so exciting. That's something we can see happen, and I'm sure you can fill us in with what we weren't able to see, but we certainly enjoy seeing the results of that. And then the second thing, the permits that you stated that you turned in on 220, because we always are very curious about permits, because that means that we're moving forward. So if you could just update us on those 2 items.
Okay, sure. As far as the demolition piece of it, there was a demolition permit issued by the city. As soon as we received that, then Cameron okayed the demolition to take place, kind of separate from the other contract. And TC Demolition, I think was the name of the company, that came and knocked down the back wall and knocked the shed that was at the back of the building down, and all came down without an incident. They were fairly clean as far as what they had to do, and I don't think made too big of a mess, all things considering it. They had to knock down that wall and then haul it off brick by brick, literally. So that piece went real well. They didn't hit any utilities in the back, and covered everything with wood and plywood boxes to kind of protect the gas and electric and transformers and everything that was at the back. So that piece went real well. As far as the permitting is concerned, the new drawings that came from the entire group of designers was turned in today. They were going to try to turn it in last Friday, but didn't make it. To get the entire set reprinted again and delivered to the city, so it was delivered today. So they have the entire permit package, which includes the tenant improvement portion of it. So it'll be a full building permit when it comes through. And really, I guess as far as those 2 things, that's really all there is to report. Hopefully we get comments within a couple of weeks on the building permit. They've already incorporated all the previous comments from the other reviews that were done. So just looking at them over the weekend, the drawings that Place Architects put out, they picked up all the review comments from previous reviews. So I think we're in pretty good shape.
And just whoever reviewed it the first time will be the same people reviewing it the next time around? So they have the history?
Yes, is that the right answer?
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Great, okay. Thank you. Thank you very
Thank y'all.
much. All right, 4.4, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution R 2020-05 of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation, authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to enter into its annual industry partnership with Opportunity Austin.
That is correct. So every year, we enjoy a great partnership with Opportunity Austin, which I got to learn about last year as your attorney with Angela. I got to know what it was. And now that I've been a part of it, I do get to see the benefits of Opportunity Austin. It's $10,000 a year, and that gets us our partnership in the co-op with 14 other towns to promote this area, Central Texas. And almost all the leads that come to us come through the governor's office and Opportunity Austin, the Austin Chamber, and they email all of the partners, including us, every week, the prospects that come through to figure out if we meet the demographic criteria or not. And that's how we get our prospects, most of them in our projects. So I'm asking for another year, for another $10,000 to be a part of that, in that resolution.
And I believe this was one of Jay Garner's recommendations on our strategic plan, that, and then he realized we already had a relationship with Opportunity Austin, so,
That was one of our strengths, that is correct.
yes. All right, any discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve R 2020-05.
Second.
All those approve?
Aye.
And any opposed? It passes. Resolution 2020-05 passes. 4.5, consideration, discussion, and possible, excuse me, possible action to approve Resolution R 2020-06 of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to enter into an amended contract with Place Designers, Inc.
That is correct. So last month, you approved us to enter into a contract with Place Designers, and this month we need to amend that contract because the costs have gone up for their design work. And so I'm asking for an extra roughly $20,000 for their design work to complete Place Designs and the MEP work.
Discussion? Questions?
I make a motion to approve Resolution R 2020-06.
Second.
All those approve?
Aye.
And opposed? Passes. 4.6, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution 2020-07 of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation, authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to enter into a contract with Capital Geotechnical Services, PLLC, for geotechnical services for the 921 Main Street project.
So this is one we have to directly hire to build 921. As the owner, it's like the person buying a house hires the building inspector. That's a similar process for this. Regardless who our contractor is, we hire our own geotechnical. And Jimmy got me a couple of quotes, and our cheapest and our best recommendation was for geotechnical. And so that's what I'm recommending, that you guys allow me to hire them to do the geotechnical work on our project. And I want to thank Jimmy for getting me that information. But he left. Okay. Thanks, Jimmy.
Publicly. Move to approve R 2020-07.
Second.
All those approve? And opposed? Passes. Consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution R 2020-08 of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation authorizing the Chief Executive Officer and the City of Bastrop Financial Director to make decisions regarding movement of reserve funds located in certificates of deposit and money market accounts.
So 3 weeks ago, Sam and I had a field trip to Tracy's office in finance, and we met with her. Our CDs are staggered every 30 to 60 days. They expire, and another one has to go somewhere else. And instead of coming to the board for each CD for board approval, it makes sense for myself, Sam, and Tracy just to make those decisions outside of board approval, but for the board to give us the authority in this resolution to make those decisions without your approval. And all we're doing is moving our reserve funds from one money market fund, which most of them are in tax pool, to another one, because the interest rates in all of them change each year. And so we may be getting specifically 1.2% in one right now. Tracy can move that next month, and we can make 1.7% on that same amount of money. And this gives her and us the flexibility to make those decisions.
It's still a tax pool. It's just a tax pool prime, which is in more commercial paper, but still low risk.
Yep.
Great.
So I have one question, Chair, if it's
Yes.
okay. You said Sam would be involved, but when I read the way it's written, it sounds like it's just you and the CFO.
So the resolutions has just me and her in there to make, because we have to sign off on the paperwork. But Sam's going to be in the room, but you can add to the resolution that Sam also has to sign off on it. I just put Tracy and I on the resolution because our signatures are all that's required on the paperwork that I sign, but Sam can certainly be in the room and be involved in the
Well,
conversation.
I love Sam dearly, but like, long-term, I think it should say the treasurer of the board, and so that there's a position, and then there's, at some point, somebody on the board is aware, and not that you, really just to kind of protect you guys.
Yes.
So that it's not well, wait a minute, you guys did that and we didn't know about it. It would behoove us to be aware of it. So I don't think they need to be a signature, but I'd like them to somehow officially be that position to be involved.
I could put
Is that
that
possible?
in conjunction with, you bet. In consultation with, yeah, let's add that to the resolution.
That's just a suggestion. Sam does such a great job for us, and I know that our next treasurer, if we should ever have a next treasurer, will also do a great job. And I just think it's important that the board have a representation on that.
All right, so I'd ask just when we make the motion to approve that resolution that we make it with the addendum that it's done in coordination with the treasurer.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're going to have a comment from our attorney.
Is it working? No? Okay. So, is it working now? No?
You can use this one.
All right. So, where it says City Finance Director, should that be Chief Financial Officer? Because that's what,
No, that's...
so. Okay, no.
Is Tracy's title the Chief Financial Officer?
That's what it is in the city, on
It is.
city's website. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll make two changes to that resolution.
And she's also our investment officer for the EDC.
Okay.
She's been trained as the official investment officer.
By the comptroller.
So for the resolution, how do you want it?
The Chief Financial Officer is fine.
Yeah.
Whatever her title is.
Yeah. And in consultation with the treasurer of BEDC. Okay, so if I can entertain a motion with that change.
I make a motion to approve Resolution R 2020-08 with the amendment to include the treasurer officer in the discussion. And I'll change the title of the accounting officer to the city.
Finance Director to
Finance
Chief.
Director
Chief.
to CFO.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, to make, for understanding before we vote, we are voting to approve Resolution 2020-08 with the two corrections, or, excuse me, one correction of Chief Financial Officer of the city and addition of the Treasurer of BEDC in consultation. So all those approve?
You didn't get a second.
Second.
Thank you, and all those approve?
Aye.
And opposed? It passes. 4.8, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution R 2020-09 of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to enter into an AIA construction contract with Sabre Commercial for general contractor services for 92 Main Street project with the guaranteed maximum price to be determined.
Correct. So last month you gave me the authority to contract or to find a commercial contractor to contract with. Sabre Commercial is who we've been working with for the last couple of weeks, and that's the contract that I've attached for your approval, subject to myself and our attorney hammering out the couple of blanks that are in there and the guaranteed max price, which we're currently working on with Sabre to get the final numbers for that, both for tenant improvement and finish out, as well as the final mechanical, electrical, plumbing numbers that just came in today. So subject to that, the contract terms, I'm asking for approval today, and then for us to negotiate the guaranteed maximum price with them.
Any discussion on that? Any questions?
Just have one question. On the guaranteed price, you're going to have two guaranteed prices, one for the building and one for the fit-out? Or
No, it's going to be one total
one total?
price. But in that, it's going to be broken down into AI's tenant improvement and our tenant improvement. We're going to have that broken down, so we'll know exactly who's paying what share of their tenant improvement within that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I was just concerned about if they underrun one portion and overrun the other. Is that going to be an issue?
No, it's a sliding scale. For example, I'll give you an example. Sheetrock. 80% of the sheetrock is the interior. That's a bad example. Let me use the exterior masonry, for example. That's all us.
Right.
So in the budget, that's 100% us, the owner, none for the tenant. But for flooring, almost all of that interior flooring is the tenant. And so it shows them paying 90% of it. And then us paying for the concrete, because that's what we said we'd pay for in there is the concrete.
I guess the issue I have is, just to be leery of, is if AI changes their scope
Okay.
after you've signed the guaranteed maximum price.
So then that is all on AI. Any additional amount
But
to
what
our
if they
lease
reduce
with
it?
them is they have to pay that additional amount.
What if they reduce their scope?
So they do less work?
Yeah.
Then Sabre, if they do less work and lower the scope, then Sabre's guaranteed max price doesn't change. They get a better margin, but that decreases based upon how much that was. Does that make sense?
A little.
That's why we're, so let me back up. So that's why we don't have a guaranteed max price yet, is because we don't have those final numbers. Because we don't know, we're working with AI right now to get the final amount for the tenant improvement. So once we have that number, that's the set number. Any changes to that, AI has to pay for. If it goes down, which I don't see it doing, because what they're trying to do is get to it as low as possible right now, so it won't go any lower. But presumably, if it did, Sabre would get that as their additional profit.
Right, it's firm fixed price, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, the build-out would have no incentive to go down. They're trying to get it down as low as they can.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I move that we approve Resolution R 2020-09.
I second.
All those approve? Aye. And opposed? Passes. 4.9, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution R 2020-10 of the Bastrop Economic Development Corporation, authorizing the Chief Executive Officer to promote Film Bastrop at the 2020 South by Southwest event.
So, as we all know, we spent a lot of time together last month at our retreat. At one of our target industries, as outlined by just not us, but Jay Gardner and his report for our strategic plan, is the film industry. And what we are signed up for at South by Southwest is to go promote Film Bastrop, which is a joint venture between us, the EDC, the Visit Bastrop, Downtown Bastrop, the Chamber, and New Republic Studios, and this lady named Kiki, who's volunteering her time and expertise in both the film industry and with websites to develop the filmbastrop.com website. And that website's still being developed. It's going to be done the first week of March, and we hope to unveil it, and the plan is to unveil it at South by Southwest, which we will be doing. And this is an event that came across Mindy's desk last week, Mindy Raymond at New Republic Studio. She forwarded it to me and asked if this is something we would be interested in doing, instead of doing giveaways at our booth to the tune of, $1,000 to $3,000, depending on how many and what we get. We could spend that money on this sponsorship instead, and what this gets us is the Friday night that kicks off South by Southwest, we get our own opportunity to speak and be interviewed, and who's willing to do this is our local movie star, Zachary Levi, is wanting to do that and speak at South by Southwest at this event for Film Bastrop. And the EDC actually is the one that purchased all the filmbastrop.org edu.com.tx. So we own that. It's part of our joint venture with them to make filming a product and an industry in Bastrop. And I think spending $10,000 to have the opportunity to have a movie star speak about why he films in Bastrop, and I'm going to play the video that they've done, that the group has done, partnered and done. Play this video, and then for him to have a chance to answer questions and talk to 400 to 500 people who are solely in the media and film industry in Texas and the United States. It's 400 to 500 people that are, it's your target captive audience, and who better to do that than a movie star that can do that? And he's donating his time for that, is my understanding with Mindy. So he's taking time out of his job to do what he wants to do. We're all going to be there taking time out of our job, so it's truly a great collaborative effort by all the different agencies in doing this. Yes, ma'am.
Didn't you say we would also be videoing the interview so
Yes.
it become?
So the video is going to be interviewed, and it's going to be put on a number of different websites. It's going to be placed on the Media ATX website, as well as the South by Southwest website, as well as some of these other media people, and they're going to have it both on their Instagram, their Facebook, and their website, playing this, as well as us. Our Film Bastrop website is going to go live the same week. So our hope is we get that Facebook and the Film Bastrop gets all the same publicity, and we start our kickoff really as our film destination that week here in Bastrop. I think it would be a great opportunity for us. I'm not big on sponsorships unless they're targeted and we can see a real impact and return on our investment on this, and this is one of those I think we can, and I see us doing that. So I'm more in favor of doing this for $10,000 than to spend a couple $1,000s on trinkets, essentially. Not that those are bad, those have their place, but for something like this, I would rather spend our money there. And now I'd like to play the video. Colin?
Great.
Cool.
Roll it.
When people think of filming in Texas, they picture cowboys and horses, pickup trucks and dirt roads, cowboy boots and honky-tonks, wide open spaces with sunsets that last forever, barbecue so good that you...
Yeah, we got all that, but Bastrop, Texas also has a 4-star diamond resort with authentic local cuisine. We have small town USA, sprawling suburbs, untamed wilderness, and some unique locations that just might surprise you. And a multimedia production studio on 200 acres right on the Colorado River. With friendly, professional crew. Bottom line, what are you waiting for? Who films in Bastrop, Texas? I do.
Is the $10,000 the total cost, or is that our portion of the cost that we're sharing with others to do it?
That's the total cost. I reached out to Visit Bastrop. They didn't have the budget for this this year, so that would be us doing the cost for it. Correct.
You also had mentioned earlier the chamber. Is the chamber going to kick in anything?
Not
on
for this, no. They've already pitched in, and Visit Bastrop has also pitched in for the filming and the actual overhead cost for that film as well. The chamber's involvement is they're getting the local businesses to put a sign. They came up with a logo, and that's going to go on all the local businesses' windows as well as our website to show which businesses are film friendly. And then they get that logo in their window for crew to come to town to buy stuff, as well as if they want to film there, et cetera. There's different criteria that go with being a film-friendly business here within the chamber. So the chamber's role in this has been more legwork, volunteer work than money work. Us and Visit Bastrop and New Republic Studios have really been the money people on this project. It's been a really good collaborative group working on this. I can't take any credit for anything that I just said. So.
Additional questions? Can I hear a motion?
I'll move that we approve R 2020-10.
And a second, please.
Second that.
All those approve? And opposed? Passes. 4.10, update on EDC staff activities for past month.
So I want to thank you all and the public for our wonderful retreat last week. So with exception to Ron being there, it was good to have everybody there. I know. I know, right? No, truly great. I really appreciate everybody's role and everybody's feedback and taking out pretty much an entire day to come to our place there. And Richard's not here, ironically.
I wanted to share with you, Cameron, that when that meeting was over, Richard came up to me and said that was the most productive meeting he had ever attended that involved the City of Bastrop and the EDC. He was really impressed with the discussion and thought that we got a lot of really good things done. So kudos
great.
to you and your staff.
Yeah, they did a great job. Good job, guys. And I'm glad to hear that because I think we accomplished a lot. We established how we're going to move this organization forward, our priorities and our new mission statement, et cetera. So I want the public to know that not only did Richard feel that way, I feel that way, and I'm thankful for you guys for being a part of this board. I think we've already started putting those pieces of the puzzle in place with our website, and we have a meeting at the end of this week with our website people, and we should to go over some of the design criteria. And like I said, the first week of April, we want to unveil our website, and it'll link to our Film Bastrop stuff as well. Then events, as I've been busy. I've gone to a lot of lunches and a lot of coffees in the past month, just like I did the first 2 months. And we now have a rule in our office. Kathy is going to schedule me one day where I don't have any meetings. So that way I can get everything we need done. Yes, we're going to try. It's been great getting to know everybody in the community. And I went to the TEDC conference last week with Gene. And the very first item on the conference was that morning of Wednesday. They were talking about the first thing you need to do if you get in this role is get involved in your community, get plugged into your community. He's like, who here knows their chamber president? Who here knows their school board superintendent or president, their school superintendent? Those are all very important for EDC directors and employees. And so it was cool to hear that. It was cool to be a part of people in the trade industry. That was my first trade group that I went to. It's neat to see what people are trying to do in their communities in these positions. So that was a nice experience. Aside from that, Gene also has done some productive stuff the last 2 weeks in meeting at the Boy Scout Ranch and their cafeteria. They have a huge cafeteria out there that's not used very often that they would like to get used in a workspace or some other type of program we can do with them. And so we're opening those lines of communications. And they were started by the attorney for Sabre Commercial, Todd. He's the one that knows the people out at the Boy Scout Ranch. And our discussion on construction out at 921 moved into the Boy Scout Ranch, and so now here we are collaborating on that. So that's also been a positive relationship and network through Sabre just from that alone. I want to thank you, Gene, for meeting with Todd that day and meeting him up there and touring. And we had a very successful Best Breakfast. We hosted that. Catherine was there, and Kevin was there as well, weren't you?
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. And you had an event.
Nothing since Valentine's.
Yeah, that's right. No kidding. Yes. So thank you guys for being there. That was a successful breakfast. Specifically, Angela and Kathy, good job on coordinating all of that, the food, and making sure everybody was there, including me. So thank you. And then had the groundbreaking event 2 weeks ago for Main Street, and that's it on my end for updates. We also have Best Breakfast event, Best Luncheon on Thursday in Elgin, and I'll be speaking at that as well.
Best Leadership Luncheon.
Leadership Luncheon. I'll still be speaking at that.
Just speak.
And so Downtown Trail, TxDOT's approved the project. We're moving forward. Technology Drive, moving forward with that. Got to do our replat and then our agreement with the county. And 921 Main is on the same schedule as it was last month. Any questions?
No? All right. Thank you. Any additional? Is that it? Is that a wrap?
I think that's a wrap on my end.
All right. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can't we, since I'm sure Richard is watching from Colorado, go ahead and say that I'll speak for him in saying that this was a very productive meeting as well?
I also want to tell Richard, missed you. So.
Okay, was there also a motion in there?
Motion to adjourn.
Look at that.
And a second?
I second it.
All those approve. We are done.